Okay. So, all right. Okay. So today, we are going to, yeah, we are going to do, we are going to learn a new subject. I think some of you may be familiar with it, but some of you are not, right? But however, we are going to start a new subject today with you all, and it is English literature, and we call it appreciation of English literary texts, right? So you may have heard this subject as English literature mostly, English literature, right? But it is actually in your textbook. You may get, certainly you have not got it by now. This is your textbook, and here it is mentioned as appreciation of English literary texts. So, first of all, I'm going to talk about the meaning of this or the definition of English literature. So, some of you may be, I think most of you are new to this subject, and if you if you already studied something, also this will be important for you to know, because sometimes, although you are studying this subject, you don't know the meaning of it, right? So let's go to the definitions first about English literature. So I'm first going to talk about what is literature. So it's for your knowledge, right? You may not ask in your paper what is English literature or something, but before you learn something, you should have a certain understanding about what you are studying, right? So that's why I'm taking you to the definitions of English literature. මොකද්ද English literature කියන්නේ? ඒක දැනගෙන ඕන subject එක ඉගෙන ගන්න. Right. So here, literature comes from the Latin word. Now, some may have known that the word literature has come from a Latin word. Now, when we talk about English language, the oldest forms of English language goes back to the Latin and Greek civilization. Latin words නුයි Greek words නුයි ගොඩක් English වල තියෙනවා. අපි දැනට use කරන English language එකේ there are a lot of Latin and Greek words, right? So this word literature also comes from that. The Latin word litera, so which means acquainted with letter. Acquainted means meeting with letter or associated with letter. You have a connection with letter, right? So yes, it has a connection with letter because we are going to read texts. What texts? Poems, short stories, novels, right? Those things. So it has a connection with the letters itself. And the second point says English literature includes literary works. Literary works means written work. ලියලා තියෙන එක. Like novels, stories, poems, non-fiction, fiction කියන්නේ ප්‍රබන්ධ. So you know non-fiction, ප්‍රබන්ධ නොවන, ඇත්ත කතා. And plays composed in English. Plays means dramas in other words. Composed in English. Now we are studying English literature. If you are learning Sinhala literature, you must learn Sinhala literature once you go to grade 10 because it is a compulsory subject for you in your O-level examination. And in Sinhala literature also you may get short stories, poems, kavi තියනවා, කතා, නවකතා ඔය ඔක්කොම තියෙනවා. So in English, we are going to learn these things in English literature. So it is not just learning them, reading them. කියවනවා විතරක් නෙමෙයි. There is something interesting here. මේක හරියම කම්මැලි subject එකක් නෙවෙයි. ඇයි ඒ? මේක එන්නේ පුතේ aesthetic subjects වලට. I think you know that. Now there are 3 baskets. You have to select one subject from each of these baskets. There are 3 baskets now. So this English literature comes on the second basket. So I think you have by now you have selected the subject, the other subjects as well, and you have decided to do English literature. First of all, you have to know that it is a very good decision. හොඳ තීරණයක් තමයි අරන් තියෙන්නේ English literature කරන්න. Because you will be benefited in your future studies. First thing is, you know that English is inevitable in our lives now. English නැතුව දැන් මුකුත් කරන්න බෑනේ නේද? එතකොට English හොඳට පුළුවන් අයට you have many opportunities. English හොඳට පුළුවන් අයට තියෙන chances වැඩි. මොන පැත්තෙන් ඉස්සරහට ගියා? ඒකට භාෂා විෂයන් වලින් ඉස්සරහට යන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. Whatever you do, it will be important for you. Right? එතකොට English literature කරන අයට automatically තමන් දන්නේම නැතුව English වල වචන ගොඩක් ඉගෙන ගන්නවා. English භාෂාව තව ටිකක් වැඩිපුර standard විදියට ඉගෙන ගන්නවා. So you will have so many benefits. And when you know English and English literature, there will be more benefits in future. Right? And I told you this is interesting. This is not boring as you think. මේ මොනවද මේ ගොඩක් කියවන්න තියෙනවා. හරි කම්මැලි කියලා හිතන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. This is an aesthetic subject. Right? Why it falls into an aesthetic subject? Do you know why it falls into an aesthetic subject? එකක් වෙන්නේ මොකද? Then dancing, music, drama, ඔය ඕවත් එක්ක තමයි මේ subject එකත් එන්නේ English literature. ඇයි මේ එතෙන්ට දාලා තියෙන්නේ? මේ ලියලා තියෙන ගොඩක් ඇයි එතෙන්ට දාලා තියෙන්නේ? That's the point, right? So we are not only studying the things written in the books, but we are going to think out of the box and we are going to appreciate the texts. That is the most important thing that you have to get into your mind. That is why the subject is called appreciation of English literary texts. Now usually, just think of you're listening to a song, right? You're listening to a song and you may be telling that, that song is very nice, the tune is really nice, it suits my mind, it's very interesting to listen to it, right? That is how you're listening to a song. And when it comes to singing, you are singing a song and you enjoy it, right? And when you do dancing, let's think that you are doing dancing, some of you may have done it. So when you dance also, you enjoy it, right? And when you watch a dance, you may definitely comment on it. Just think that you're going to watch a concert. You're watching a concert and you may be appreciating, oh, what a beautiful dance is that. The dresses are really nice. The song is nice. Those dancers are dancing very nicely. They are very talented. And on the other hand, you may say, oh, what an ugly dance is that. I can dance more than that. Sometimes you may say it like that. Right? So you both appreciate it and criticize it. Criticize, විවේචනය කරනවා. හොඳක් කියනවා නරකක් කියනවා. That is what you are doing when you are learning these aesthetic subjects. So what we are going to do in English literature? In English literature, we are reading the text and we make comments on it. We appreciate, sometimes we criticize them. So we read a poem and we see whether the things written here is can be appreciated or can be criticized. And we are reading stories and we appreciate or criticize that. So that may be interesting, and you may be imagining several things. Actually, more than dancing and music, then dancing and music වලදී ඒක දිහා බලන් ඉඳලා සින්දුවක් නැටුමක් දිහා බලන් ඉඳලා ඒක කමෙන්ට් කරනවා විතරයි. But in literature we have something more than that even. අපිට තව චුට්ටක් හිතන්නත් මේකෙන් පස්සේ මොකක් වෙයිද? If it is a story, මේ කැරක්ටර් එකට මොකක් වෙයිද ඊට පස්සේ මේ චරිතයට මොකක් වෙයිද? So like that, you are going to think, imagine things, create things, and it's really interesting than you think. හිතනවට වඩා make it interesting. You will learn very new things, and it will be really nice to learn this language in an interesting way. So that is what you are going to do in literature. So as I am written here, English literature includes literary works, written works like novels, stories, poems, non-fiction, and plays. So we are going to study all these things, right? It's not difficult as you think. Then here I have taken a definition. Meaning එකක් අරගෙන තියෙනවා from Webster's dictionary. And this is very important, Webster's dictionary. Now you may have heard of Oxford dictionary. Most of you use Oxford dictionary, right? But remember, Webster's dictionary is one of the oldest dictionaries in English literature. Not English literature, in English, right? So that is very important. So here there is a definition for English literature here. So we are learning English literature. And so it says, writings having excellence of form or expression and expressing ideas of permanent or universal interest. What is that? You are reading excellent writings. Very good writings, excellent writings, the written things which are really good, really great. And you are forming an expression. And you, by the way, expressing your ideas about it. ඔයාලගේ අදහස, ඒක කියවල ඔයාලගේ අදහසුත් කියනවා. Those ideas may be sometimes permanent. සමහර ඒවා ස්ථිරවම කියන අදහස් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Sometimes they are not permanent because once you read the very outset of the poem, now just think about you are reading a poem. When you are reading the first 2 lines, you may get an idea. But when you are reading the last few lines of the poem, you may get another idea. So that's why the ideas are not permanent sometimes. They may change when you are reading through it and when you are thinking deep into it. idea එක වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. And universal interest. Universal. What is that? Globally, or it is really interesting to the society you live. So this is not just something you don't know exactly. මේ දන්නේ නැති දේවල් නෙමෙයි. අපි දන්න දේවල්. අපේ society එකේ තියෙන දේවල්. අපි poems වල, short stories වල මේක writers ලා ලියලා තියෙන දේවල් අපි appreciate කරනවා. මේ society එකේ තියෙන දේවල්. So just think how interesting it is. අපි දන්නම දේවල් අපි දන්නේ නැති තැනකින් හොයනවා. Right? So it's really interesting. And next, The next thing is there is another definition here. The matter of imaginative. That is really important, right? Imaginative or artistic literature. That is what I have told you. So you have imagination there, artistic work there, and as a transcript. You know a transcript? Now when you are watching a drama, you have a transcript there. ඩ්‍රාමා එකක් අපි බලනවා විතරයිනේ. හැබැයි ඩ්‍රාමා එකේ අර ඉන්න චරිතවල තියෙනවනේ පිටපතක් ලියලා. අන්න ඒක තමයි transcript එක. not in a drama. එතකොට මේ definition එකේ කියන විදියට මේ අර්ථකථනයේ කියන විදියට මේ transcript එක තමයි novels, short stories, poems මේ ඔක්කොම transcripts. ඒවා හරිම imaginative වගේම artistic sense එකකුත් තියෙනවා. Not of mere fact, නිකම් තොරතුරු ටිකක් විතරක් නෙමෙයි, but of fact in its infinitely varied forms. විවිධ දේවල් තියෙනවා. So, what you have to get into your mind is literature is all about written works like novels, short stories, poems, and plays, right? And it is all about expressing things, criticizing things, appreciating things, and we also find social issues, social problems, the problems in the society with universal interest there. And there are things to imagine, and there are a lot of things that we can know from these things. So isn't it interesting? It's really interesting, right? So those are the definitions. I think you got an idea about literature, English literature. So we are going to learn several things about English literature, several literary works, several written things like short stories, novels, poems. Okay? So that will be really interesting for you. Well, so next I'm going to show you the syllabus. I will share the PDF as it is not very clear here. Just a moment. Okay, I'll show you that. What you are going to study. Page 8. Here is it. Now, in your anthology, we call this book the anthology, right? Because all the things are here except the novel. All the things that you're going to study is here except the novel. Okay? So it says, you have poems. Now this is both grade 10 and 11. This is for both grade 10 and 11. Right? You have only one book for both grade 10 and 11. Right? So there we have poetry basically, right? Poetry. Then we have prose, drama and novels. Okay? So we get poems under 4 themes. Themes, තේමාවල්. තේමාවල් 4ක් යටතේ අපි poems ඉගෙන ගන්න. Okay? First one is nature. Second one is conflict. So conflict means the problems, right? Different problems are there. There are life problems, there are problems related to war, everything is here. Society. You know what is society? Samaje ගැන තියෙන. And life, that is really important. Life, all the four are important, right? And there's another one. I'm sorry, there are 5, right? Humor. Humor. What is humor? It's fun. You have things to laugh there. Okay? So there are 5 themes here. We are studying poems under 5 themes. And that will be really interesting to study these poems. I will show you them, right? And then prose. Prose includes short stories, maybe the speeches done by several people, maybe some extracts taken from books. කොටසක් පොත් වලින් ගත්ත කොටසක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. කවුරු හරි කතා කරපු එකක කොටසක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, right? So, and short stories. කෙටි කතා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. කෙටි කතා කියන්නේ ගොඩාක් දිග නෑ. It's like just 2-3 pages, right? So that's there, prose section. Then dramas. You have 2 dramas to learn. These dramas also not like, you don't think that they are like books, right? They are not books. Just it's included in the anthology, the dramas, 2 dramas. Okay? And there are 2 dramas and there are 3 novels in the syllabus, right? There are 3 novels in the syllabus. Prince and the Pauper, Bringing Tony Home, Vendor of Sweets. So there are 3 novels in the syllabus, and if we can do all these 3 novels, it's really nice if we can do all these 3 novels. But as we don't have that much of time, we are selecting only 1 novel, right? So we are selecting only 1 novel and we are conducting that. We are reading that and we are doing only 1, right? But if you can read the other 2 and learn the other 2, it will be really worthy for you. ගොඩක් හොඳයි අනිත් දෙකත් කරන්න පුළුවන් නම් අපිට time නැති නිසා අපි කරන්නේ එකයි. එතකොට එකක් කරලා ඒකෙන් එන question එකට තමයි answers ලියන්නේ exam එකේ. Now this is the whole syllabus for grade 10 and 11 both. 10 11 දෙකටම තියෙන syllabus එක තමයි මේ. Then මම පෙන්නන්නම්, I'll show you now what do you have for grade 10, right? This is what you have for grade 10. ඒකත් divide කරලා තියෙනවා terms අනුව, right? For the terms. First term is this. You have 3 novels. I'm sorry, 3 poems and 2 prose passages there. Prose section එකෙන් පාඩම් 2යි. Poems 3කුයි කරන්න තියෙනවා first term එක. Okay? And here it's given like 35 periods. In school, you're going to do it from 35 periods. And for the second term, okay, 4 poems, 1 prose, 1 short story is there. And in the second term, we are going to select 1 of the novels. So I may say I am doing The Vendor of Sweets. Right? I am doing the novel The Vendor of Sweets with you. Okay, and by the way, in less than 1 minute, you will leave the meeting and you have to join again with the same link, right? A link ekema join venna. And okay, so in the second term, we are going to start 1 novel. We are going to select 1. So I'm selecting The Vendor of Sweets. And in the third term, you have again 4 poems, 1 prose, and a drama,